The call came on a Tuesday morning. I was eating breakfast, coffee and toast. The kind of ordinary morning that makes you think nothing bad can happen before noon. The woman on the phone said she was Detective Morales. She asked if I lived at 42 Maple Street. I said yes. She asked if I knew a man named Derek Vance. I said yes. He was my friend. We had known each other for years. She said we have reason to believe that address is being used for criminal activity. I put my toast down. I asked what kind of criminal activity. She did not answer. She asked how long Mr. Vance had been receiving packages at my home. I said he asked to use my address for one delivery. 3 months ago, he said he was between apartments. He said he did not want to lose his package. He said it was just one thing. I said yes because that is what you do for friends. You say yes to small favors. You do not ask questions. There was a pause on the line. A long one. Then she said, "Sir, we have seized 17 packages addressed to your home in the last 30 days. 17. None of them had your name on them." She said, "I need you to come in and talk to us." I sat at my kitchen table with my cold coffee and my uneaten toast, and I tried to remember if I had ever actually seen one of those packages. I had not. Derek always picked them up before I got home. That was not an accident. That was a plan. Derek asked me in June. He called on a Thursday night. He said he was between apartments. His lease had ended. His new place was not ready. He said he needed one package delivered. Something for work. Important documents. He said he would use my address just once. I said yes. That is what you do for friends. You do not ask for explanations. You do not request background checks. You just say yes. The package arrived 3 days later. A small box. Brown paper. No return address. I texted Derek. He came by that night. He picked it up. He thanked me. That was it. Or so I thought. Derek thanked me again the next time I saw him. We were at a bar. He bought me a beer. He said he owed me one. I said it was nothing. It was nothing. One package. One address. One small favor. That is how it starts. Not with a bang. With a box on your doorstep and a friend who says just this once. I did not think about it again until the second package arrived. Different return address. Same name. Derek. I texted him. He said, "Sorry, man. One more." He said he would stop after this. I said okay. I did not ask what was in it. I did not ask why the return address was different. I just said okay. Then a third package came. Then a fourth. Each time I texted him. Each time he said last one. Each time I believed him. Because he was my friend. Because I wanted to believe him. Because believing him was easier than asking questions. I asked what he was ordering. Once. Just once. We were in my kitchen. Another box on my counter. He said, "Work stuff?" Boring. You do not want to know. He laughed. I laughed. I did not push. I should have pushed. I should have said, "Let me see." I should have said, "Why are there 17 different return addresses?" I should have said a lot of things. But I did not. Because he was my friend. Friends do not interrogate each other about packages. That is what I told myself. That is what I kept telling myself while box after box landed on my doorstep and Derek picked them up before I got home from work. I was not being a good friend. I was being a convenient address. And I was too busy trusting to notice. Sarah asked about the packages. She saw them on the porch one morning. 3 boxes. Different sizes. Different return addresses. Same name. Derek. She asked why Derek could not use his own address. I said he was between apartments. She asked for 3 months. I said he was looking. She said he had been looking for 3 months and had not found anything. I did not have an answer. I had not thought about it. I had not done the math. 3 months of packages. 3 months of last one. 3 months of believing someone who was giving me more and more reasons not to. Sarah asked what was in the packages. I said I did not know. She asked if I had asked. I said yes. He said work stuff. She asked what kind of work. I said I did not know. She looked at me. She said I was letting someone use my address for something I did not understand. That was not a favor. That was a risk. I told her she was overthinking. She said she was not overthinking. She was paying attention. There was a difference. She was right. I was the one not paying attention. I was the one letting boxes pile up on my porch without asking where they came from, or what was inside, or why my friend could not get his own mail like a normal adult. I called Derek. I said no more packages. He said okay. Just okay. No explanation. No apology. No last one. Just okay. 2 more arrived that week. I texted him. He did not respond. I left the packages on the porch. He picked them up at night. I did not see him. I did not ask. I did not want to know. That was the truth. I did not want to know what was in those boxes. Because if I knew, I would have to do something. And doing something was harder than doing nothing. So I did nothing. I let Derek pick up his packages in the dark. I let my wife watch from the window. I let myself pretend that everything was fine. It was not fine. I just did not know how bad it was yet. I went to Derek's apartment, the one he said he was living in. I had never been there before. He had never invited me. I knocked on the door. He opened it. He looked surprised. Not happy. Surprised. Like he had been caught doing something he did not want me to see. I asked about the packages. He said, I told you. Work stuff. I asked what kind of work. He said importing. It is complicated. I asked why he needed my address. He said, because his neighborhood was not safe. Packages got stolen off his porch. That almost made sense. Almost. I had been to his neighborhood. It was fine. Not fancy, but fine. Packages did not get stolen there any more than they got stolen anywhere else. I asked why he did not get a P.O. box. He said too expensive. I asked how many more packages he was expecting. He said a few. He said he would be out of my hair soon. I said Sarah is uncomfortable. He said Sarah is always uncomfortable. He said it with a little smile, like he was making a joke, like my wife's feelings were a punchline. That bothered me. He did not know her. He did not get to dismiss her. He did not get to decide whether her discomfort was valid. I told him he had 2 weeks to find another address. He said okay. He did not fight. He did not argue. He did not ask for more time. He just agreed. Just okay. That should have worried me. Someone who agrees that fast is not planning to follow through. He was just waiting for me to leave. He was just telling me what I wanted to hear, so I would get back in my car and drive away and stop asking questions. I stood in his doorway, and I realized I did not know this man. I had known him for 5 years. We had drinks. We had dinners. We watched games. But I did not know him. I did not know what was in those packages. I did not know why he really needed my address. I did not know if he had been using me from the very first box. I wanted to believe he had not. But I was standing in his doorway, and he was lying to my face, and I could feel it. The truth was right there. I just did not want to see it. The packages did not stop. They increased. 2 a week. Then 3. Different sizes. Different return addresses. All addressed to Derek. All coming to my house. I started refusing them. I told the mail carrier to send them back. The carrier said he could not. They were addressed to my address. Legally, I had to accept them or mark them return to sender. I marked return to sender on every single one. I wrote it in big letters. Return to sender. Not at this address. I thought that would be the end of it. Derek called me. He was angry. I had never heard him angry before. He asked why I was sending his packages back. I said because I told you to stop. He said he needed those. I said then get your own address. He hung up. He did not call back. But the packages kept coming. Different carriers. UPS. FedEx. USPS. Different names. Some had Derek's name. Some had other names. Names I had never heard of. Marcus Webb. Jennifer Tate. A business called Coastal Distribution. All of them addressed to my home. All of them arriving whether I wanted them or not. Sarah said we needed to call someone. I asked who. She said she did not know. The post office. A lawyer. Someone. I said she was overreacting. She opened her phone. She showed me a list. She had been keeping track. 17 packages in 30 days. 17. She had written down every date, every carrier, every return address, every name. I stared at the list. 17. I had not been counting. I had been ignoring. But Sarah had been paying attention. She always had been. I was the one who looked away. I was the one who told her she was overthinking while my front porch became a distribution center for God knows what. I sat at my kitchen table with her phone in my hand, and I realized I had no idea what was in those packages. No idea who was sending them. No idea if I was already in legal trouble. I just knew that my friend had been using me, and I had let him, for months, while my wife watched from the window and begged me to pay attention. I finally was. I just hoped it was not too late. I opened one of the packages. I know I should not have. I know it was illegal. Tampering with mail. Evidence. Chain of custody. All of it. I did not care. I needed to know. Sarah was at work. The house was quiet. I took a box cutter to the latest delivery. A medium-sized box. No return address. Just Derek's name and my address. Inside was a shipping label from another country. China. Then inside that was another box. Then inside that box was something I did not expect. Not drugs. Not weapons. Credit cards. Dozens of them. Different names. Different banks. All in sealed envelopes. Each one looked official. Each one looked like it had been mailed to someone who did not ask for it. Someone who was about to have their identity stolen. Derek was not importing work supplies. He was not between apartments. He was not worried about package theft in his neighborhood. He was importing stolen credit cards. He was using my address as a drop, a safe place to receive illegal goods. And I was the unwitting accomplice. Every package that arrived at my house was evidence. Every package I accepted was me participating. Even the ones I refused. Even the ones I marked return to sender. The address was mine. My name was on the lease. I was responsible. I called Derek. He did not answer. I texted him. I know what is in the packages. You have 1 hour to call me, or I am going to the police. He called back in 5 minutes. He said, do not do anything stupid. I said using my address for credit card fraud was stupid. I'm just cleaning up your mess. He said if I went to the police, they would think I was involved. I accepted the packages. I let him use my address. I was in this whether I liked it or not. He was threatening me. My friend was threatening me. The same man I had bought beers for. The same man I had trusted with my home address. He was telling me that I was trapped. That I could not go to the police because they would not believe me. That I was as guilty as he was. I stood in my kitchen with my phone against my ear, and I realized he was right. Not about the guilt. About the optics. It looked bad. It looked like I was involved. Because I had been. Not intentionally. But I'd been accepting those packages for months. I had been texting him when they arrived. I had been a willing participant in my own blindness. And now I had to figure out how to prove that I was not the criminal. I was just the fool. I called a lawyer. Not the police. A lawyer. A woman named Helen who specialized in criminal defense. I found her through a coworker. I called her office at 8 in the morning. She answered herself. I told her everything. The packages. The favor. The 18 months of deliveries. The credit cards. Derek's threat. She listened. She did not interrupt. When I was done, she said I was not in trouble yet. But I would be if I did not act. She said we needed to go to the police before they came to me. Because they would come. It was only a matter of time. I asked if Derek would be arrested. She said that was not my concern. My concern was protecting myself. I asked if I had done anything wrong. She said I was naive. That was not a crime. But continuing to accept packages after I knew what they were would be a crime. She asked if I had accepted any packages since I opened the box. I said no. I had refused everything. She said good. That was critical. That was the line between naivety and complicity. I went to the police that afternoon. I brought the package I opened. I brought the list Sarah had kept. I brought printouts of my texts with Derek. I sat in a room with a detective named Morris. I told her everything. She asked if I was willing to cooperate. I said yes. She asked if I would help him catch Derek. I said yes. He was not my friend. He had never been my friend. He had been using me from the start. The dinners. The beers. The small talk. All of it was just him keeping me close so he could keep using my address. I was not a friend to him. I was a resource. An address. A fool who said yes to one delivery and then kept saying yes because he did not want to be rude. Detective Morris asked me to keep accepting packages, to let them keep coming, to let Derek think nothing had changed. They wanted to catch him in the act. I said yes. I was scared, but I was more scared of doing nothing. I had done nothing for too long. It was time to do something, even if it cost me a friend I never really had. The police set up a controlled delivery. They asked me to accept one more package. to act normal, to text Derek when it arrived as if nothing had changed. I said yes. I was scared, but I was more scared of what would happen if I said no. The package came on a Thursday. Same brown box. Same fake return address. Same lie. I texted Derek. "It is here." He said thanks. He said he would come by that night. The police were in position by 8 p.m. Unmarked cars down the street. Officers in my neighbor's driveway. Detective Morris was in my living room. She told me to open the door when Derek knocked. To act normal. To let him take the package. Then to step back. They would handle the rest. I sat on my couch and waited. My hands were sweating. Sarah was in the bedroom. She did not want to see it. I did not blame her. Derek knocked at 9:15. I opened the door. He smiled. He said, "Thanks, man." He said, "I owe you one." I said, "You owe me a lot more than one." He did not understand what I meant. He bent down to pick up the box. That was when the police stepped out of their cars. Lights flashed. Voices shouted. Derek saw them. His face changed. The smile disappeared. He dropped the package. He ran. He did not get far. They caught him in the alley behind my house. I watched from my porch. He was on the ground. An officer was putting handcuffs on him. He looked up at me. His eyes were wild. He said, "You set me up." I said, "You set me up first." I just finished it. Sarah came outside. She stood next to me. She did not say anything. She just held my hand. The police put Derek in the car. He did not look at me again. They drove away. The street went quiet. I stood on my porch with my wife's hand in mine, and I felt nothing. No relief. No satisfaction. Just emptiness. I had known Derek for 5 years. 5 years of dinners and drinks and late-night conversations. I had no idea who he really was. He had been using me from the start, and I had let him, because I wanted to be helpful, because I wanted to be a good friend, because I did not want to ask questions. I learned that night that being a good friend means knowing when to say no. I learned it too late, but I learned it, and I would not forget. Derek was charged with fraud and identity theft. The police found evidence at his apartment. More credit cards, mailing lists, shipping records. He had been running this operation for years, using different addresses, different friends, different people who trusted him. I was not special. I was just the latest. He pleaded guilty. He got 3 years. I did not go to the sentencing. I did not write him a letter. I did not visit. He was dead to me. He had died the night he threatened me. The person I thought was my friend had never existed. I was just a tool, a mailbox with a pulse, a way to get packages without putting his own name on them. He had smiled at me. He had bought me beers. He had said, "Thanks, man, I owe you one." And all of it was just maintenance, keeping his address warm, keeping his fool in place. The detective told me I was lucky. She said Derek had done this before. Other people had not been as cooperative. Other people had been charged as accomplices because they waited too long to come forward. I had not waited too long. I had come in the day I opened the box. That saved me. That and Sarah's list. Sarah's list was the thing that convinced them I was telling the truth. A wife who had been tracking packages for months. A wife who had been ignored. A wife who was right about everything. I owed her more than I could ever repay. I changed my mailing address. I got a P.O. box. Not because I needed one. Because I never wanted to wonder again if a package on my porch was a favor or a crime. I wanted a clean line. A boundary. A way to say no without having to explain why. Sarah asked if I was okay. I said I trusted someone. He used me. I will be okay. But I will not forget. I started paying attention differently. To favors. To friends who asked for small things that did not make sense. To the difference between helping and being used. I had not known the difference before. I knew it now. The cost was 5 years of friendship I never really had. The lesson was one I would carry forever. Trust is not saying yes to everything. Trust is knowing when to say no. I had not known that. I knew it now, and I would spend the rest of my life making sure I never forgot. Derek was charged with fraud and identity theft. The police found evidence at his apartment. More credit cards, mailing lists, shipping records. He had been running this operation for years, using different addresses, different friends, different people who trusted him. I was not special. I was just the latest. He pleaded guilty. He got 3 years. I did not go to the sentencing. I did not write him a letter. I did not visit. He was dead to me. He had died the night he threatened me. The person I thought was my friend had never existed. I was just a tool, a mailbox with a pulse, a way to get packages without putting his own name on them. He had smiled at me. He had bought me beers. He had said, "Thanks, man, I owe you one." And all of it was just maintenance. Keeping his address warm. Keeping his fool in place. The detective told me I was lucky. She said Derek had done this before. Other people had not been as cooperative. Other people had been charged as accomplices because they waited too long to come forward. I had not waited too long. I had come in the day I opened the box. That saved me. That and Sarah's list. Sarah's list was the thing that convinced them I was telling the truth. A wife who had been tracking packages for months. A wife who had been ignored. A wife who was right about everything. I owed her more than I could ever repay. I changed my mailing address. I got a P.O. box. Not because I needed one. Because I never wanted to wonder again if a package on my porch was a favor or a crime. I wanted a clean line. A boundary. A way to say no without having to explain why. Sarah asked if I was okay. I said I trusted someone. He used me. I will be okay. But I will not forget. I started paying attention differently. To favors. To friends who asked for small things that did not make sense. To the difference between helping and being used. I had not known the difference before. I knew it now. The cost was 5 years of friendship I never really had. The lesson was one I would carry forever. Trust is not saying yes to everything. Trust is knowing when to say no. I had not known that. I knew it now, and I would spend the rest of my life making sure I never forgot.